there are challenges to Wisconsin, legitimate challenges, but I don't think it's going to be Nebraska this year. As much as I think Scott Frost will be successful, I still want to temper my expectations because I don't want to just come out and say he's going to win, 10 games, 11 games, because I just don't think that's realistic. I think
I think the floor is 6 wins and the ceiling is probably 9.
I honestly, I was looking over the schedule and giving a realistic take. I think I counted, I want to say 4 losses. So I would say I could see it being 8-4 or 7-5. I could see that, which some people, and I know that's just how Nebraska fans are, that's still not enough, even though he's supposed to be the savior. What happened? I'm like, he inherited a bad team. Okay, this is a team that was 4-8 a year before.
Yeah,
a lot of holes.
I'll say, I think that there's a lot of reason for optimism. I think that if the schedule isn't so tight, like if we had last year's schedule, which was a lot easier than this year's, I could see him winning 9 or 10 games. But this year, I think it's just going to be too tough. I will say that Mike Riley and staff, they did do a good job recruiting some positions. I mean, we have some talented players in this team.
Yeah, they would just coach well.
Yeah, and they got hurt a lot, probably because it had to do with coaching and strength and conditioning and everything. I think it all comes back to that. But I think there was a lot of talent, and I think 53 new players have been brought in over the offseason. And from all reports, it sounds like they're all fitting in very well. I'm super excited for this offense. I think everything that you hear about Maurice Washington, that he's just a stud. Scott Frost himself said after 5 days of camp that he had 12 incredible plays, and that's high praise coming from Scott if you ever listened to him talk. I mean, hearing that Trey Bryant's going to be healthy, a lot of people thought he was never going to play football again. Hearing that Ozigbo has lost a few pounds and is really wowing the coaches right now, I love hearing that. And then obviously the receivers were just loaded, and I'm really excited about the quarterbacks. I think that we're going to hear tomorrow, Friday, who the starter is going to be. And honestly, I'm pretty confident either way that they're going to be good. But yeah, I agree that it'll probably be another year before we're really where we want to be. But I like Stanley Morgan's attitude, man. He says, I'm here to win championships.
But yeah, I mean, the lineman, he said, I know people might think it's unrealistic, but I don't care, think I'm crazy. I want to win a national championship. That's what I'm here for. We're going to win, we're going to play for that. And I
like that.
And I want players to believe that. I want guys like that who realistically it might not happen, but to have that mentality is important. It's like what I tell you all the time, and you agree. It's like, if you don't think your team can win a championship every year, then are you really a fan? If you don't believe,
I mean, there's, and it's maybe more of like a want and a hope than a true belief, And I think Scott Frost and the coaches have done a great job at balancing, making their team believe, but also tempering the fans and the media, saying well, next year is really our year, and you better get us now if you're going to get us, because you're not going to be able to. But then also saying that you're here to win right away. You never go out and say, you never go to a game not planning to win. Tell me to shut up.
No, my Facebook keeps going off. But
so I love that attitude. I hate when people are like, "Oh, be realistic." I'm like, no, when you're a football player, you're a competitor. Any sports player, you're there to compete to win. You're not there to compete to win 6 games or win 8 games. You're there to win all of them, and you're going to try as hard as you can to win every single one. Now, I think that there's a difference between expecting to win and think you can win. Or if you win 8 games, you should still feel accomplished. And, if you're a Husker this year, you'd be proud of that, but that's not the goal. The goal is to win 15 games. That's the goal.
No, yeah.
And every year for every team.
And as a player, you for sure should want that. And I don't believe in the whole idea of be realistic too. I think why would you not want to shoot for the stars? That's just silly to not.
You just never know. I mean, winning a national championship, likely out of the question because teams that win national championships are generally ranked very highly to start the season and generally have top 10 recruiting classes the 4 to 5 years preceding that. However, like this team could still surprise everyone and make it to the playoffs. It's totally possible. We're in the slightly easier division. If we can win the West Division, then you're one game away from essentially going to the playoff. Most likely, you win the Big Ten championship. Odds are you're going to go into the playoffs. So that's completely possible, and I don't think there's any reason to shoot for less.
Okay, so real quick,
I'm super excited. I want to ask you. Okay, you go first.
Okay, so real quick, let's just hear what you think because I think we're on the same page. I want to go through the schedule and tell you wins and losses. So first game, Akron, win. Colorado, win. Troy, win. So I think we're going to start off 3-0.
Yeah, obviously.
I think Michigan's going to beat Nebraska here.
I think here's how I see it. So I'm just going to list out the wins that I see first. So let's just get those out of the way and get to the other games. So Akron, Colorado, Troy, Minnesota, Illinois. Those are the ones that I'm very, very confident that we're going to win. Now, I'd say there's varying degrees on the other ones. Michigan, I'd give us just a little bit less than a toss-up. I think Michigan's a little bit overrated. I think that, yes, their defense is fantastic, but I see Nebraska, for any good this year, it's going to be because our offense is just on fire. And I can totally see that happening with all the weapons that we have, all the speed that we have, and the fact that nobody else in the Big Ten really has that. I mean, Ohio State is very good on offense, but they're not the same kind of super fast tempo, they do have super athletes, but I don't think that their defense, I think there's a good chance that Nebraska's offense could overwhelm their defense and that that Michigan's offense wouldn't be able to keep up. So I'd say that's a little bit less than a toss-up. As far as Purdue, Northwestern, and Iowa, Iowa's at the end of the season. You don't know what you're going to get out of Iowa until later on. I think the opposite of those ones where it's a toss-up, but more to our favor. Purdue the most out of them, but we'll see. Jeff Brom, the turnover that he had last year was awesome. So, and then Ohio State is the one where, I'm a little nervous for that. I'm excited to go to the game, but I'm not super confident in that. Oh, and I see Michigan State the same way I see Michigan. It's a toss-up, but it's more in our in their favor. But I could definitely. That's towards the end of the season. We'll see how injuries play out, how good or bad we actually are. We have no idea what we're going to get. But that's how I see the season. Is there anything you agree with there?
I pretty much agree with that, except for I think Purdue. I think Purdue is a guaranteed win. I don't.
Okay. Man, last year. I know.
Of the four losses, the losses that I see are Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, and then I had one other one. It's not Iowa. It was Wisconsin. Yeah, it was Wisconsin. Those are the four losses I see. So 8-4, not a bad start. Flipping it and going from 4-8 to 8-4, not a bad start, and it can only get better.
And if I'm going to make my outright prediction for the season, that's tough. Some of these are I could just see it going either way so easily. I'm going to give us a 9-3. I'm going to say our three losses are going to be Ohio State, obviously, Wisconsin, and Michigan. I think we're going to lose Michigan. I think it'll be a good game though. But I think that we take Michigan State at home, and I think that we'll take, mostly because that's my birthday weekend, and I don't want to imagine us losing. And I think we're going to stick it to Iowa because I think that the players, especially the seniors on this team, they're going to be done with that. And
Iowa's been taking it to Nebraska.
I think Iowa better be ready, and I plan on going to that game. We should definitely go to that together.
You know what? As much as it's still a long drive for me. It's not nearly as bad, but It's
Oh my
so
God,
long.
shut up. It's a holiday. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Well, I was just saying, like, it's so much easier to go to an Iowa State game because Ames is like 45 minutes to an hour from where I live, and Iowa City is way. I don't want to go to Iowa City. It's gross.
All right, well,
Uh,
I'll be there having a great time watching the Huskers pound on the dirty Hawkeyes.
I'm going to tell you this though. I think, regardless of how the season ends up, I think if Nebraska beats Wisconsin, then to me that'll be the sign that Scott Frost has arrived. Because if Nebraska can beat the top dog in the division with I don't want to say much less talented squad. That's not necessarily fair. But this is a team that's
We have more talent. We have way more talent than Wisconsin.
I
They've
don't know
just
about
been
that.
coached up so well. If we're talking about talent, then you're talking about their recruiting rankings,
Okay,
and Nebraska is way ahead of Wisconsin.
I'll agree with you. Wisconsin's like New England. It's the system.
Yeah,
Um,
and they do have a great system. I agree. I agree with you. The weird thing about that though is that if you look at the last 2 years, like yeah, they beat us pretty good by the end of the game last year. We're beating them.
yeah,
And if we could have just stopped one run in the last 20 whatever attempts,
that's the
like we were
most annoying thing.
the year
Is
before that, we take them to overtime at Wisconsin. I mean,
and
and
that
the year before that, they beat us by a field goal in the last second. So it's kind of
I
crazy. And so that's what it makes me more confident in that game. But we'll see. We'll see.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I just think that like that, regardless of what happens, if he can beat
Mhm.
Michigan or Wisconsin, I think that's going to really set the tone because right now everybody's kind of feeling it out like, oh, they got this great young coach. We'll see how it goes. But if they can pull off a win against Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium, I think that's when the Big Ten is going to kind of sit up and take notice and be like, okay, Nebraska's serious again.
I got a question for you. Which of these scenarios would you rather see? Nebraska beats Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio State at, those are all away games for Nebraska. They win all three of those games, but they lose to Purdue, Northwestern, and Iowa. Or would you rather see them clean up all the games that they should win and only win one of those three away games?
I would take them cleaning up and then winning one of those games because to me
Option B. But man,
be
can you imagine?
like option A would be like if they win those games, that's a legitimate playoff contender. But then
Yeah,
they
but then we
lose.
lose. Then we lose to Purdue. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. That's not. I think option A. The more I think about it now, actually, I think if that happens, then everyone's just going to write off the Big Ten, and we're not going to make the playoff. Is what would happen.
That's what I'm saying. Is like that is a legitimate case for a
I will
playoff
say,
spot.
if we can pull off a win at Michigan in the first Big Ten game, I think that would be such a huge morale boost and confidence boost for this team that I think that if we win that game, I would say we're more likely to win 10 games than we would be to win like 7 or 8.
And
Just because they have so much confidence, and then going into Purdue and Wisconsin, that'd be huge. So I really hope it happens.
And it would be, and that's the thing too. It's a perfect storm for Nebraska because the fan base is excited, the players are excited, and then having that happen first year and a guy that everybody believes in, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't. We'll see what happens this year, but I honestly think that Nebraska is in a great spot because I feel like Scott Frost is the Urban Meyer.
The future is bright. Now, don't compare him to Urban Meyer right now.
Is it? Well, except for if he sees someone beating someone, he'll probably say
he's the new Nick Saban. He's the new T.O. That's what he is. The new Tom Osborne. Oh, and
let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll see what happens.
I put $25 on some bets that I think I did $10 that they're going to win the national championship, $10 that they're going to win the Big Ten West, and $5 that they'll win the Big Ten.
Derek,
I think that's how I did it.
Problem.
It's $25. If I get all those though, I get like $2,000. So worth it.
So Derek's gambling problems. That's how we should end this show right there.
Perfect. I'm excited to do this show, man. I miss talking about sports.
I'm excited too. So once again, you can get this like loud. You can get that on loudandopinionated.com. I believe it's going to have its own tab. Am I right, Derek?
Yeah, it will soon. It'll be loudandopinionated.com/the audible. And this has been
So
The
yeah,
Audible presented by Loud and Opinionated.
yeah,
Is
we'll
that how we're
figure
going
that
to
out.
say it? We'll figure semantics. We'll get there.
We'll figure it out. It might have its own RSS feed at some point. We'll figure it out. But
Yeah.
yes, thank you for listening.
We
Thanks
don't
for
know what we're doing.
watching. As always, you can contact us. I'm Jake at loudandopinionated.com. Derek is Derek at loudandopinionated.com. You can follow us on Twitter, loud opinionated, no and because it's too long. You can like us on Facebook, Loud and Opinionated. And thanks. Have a great day.
Let's go, Fro, for life.
Jimmy G string.